We're going to start with this, and then you can show us your new shoes.
You're feeling?
To be honest,
That is a terrible voice.
shut up. Don't laugh at me. I'm knackered. But, my car was amazing. Don't laugh at me. I'm going to kick you after this. Yeah, my car was really good. So, Luke did a great job for us. The splitter stayed on today. And, yeah, the pit stops were good. My car was amazing to drive. So, yeah.
We're going to move on from you because I can't stop laughing. You're feeling?
You're a true asshole.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It feels like it's been like 3 weeks since we've been on air.
I know.
It has been, actually, hasn't it?
Has it? Yeah, it probably has.
You're an asshole. Why would you play that to start the show? Just to
I
wind
think
me up?
I'd laugh.
still not 100%.
because That was me 2 weeks earlier
Oh,
at
yeah.
Bathurst.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
the worst.
So you know
ever.
my pain. Why would you take the piss out of me?
What were
'Cause
you
that's
guys
what we
doing to
love doing.
transfer illnesses? What's going on here? Were you sharing
Yeah.
a hotel room
like-
in Bathurst or what?
We French kissed each other.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
It,
I meant in a plutonic sense, but all right, if you want to take it there.
Actually, we touched each other.
yeah,
We played
it's,
tummy sticks.
It's the worst, isn't it? It was actually... you idiot. How bad is it on the radio? Because I had to actually yell so they
Dude.
could hear me at Bathurst,
Oh,
and
really?
then it makes it worse. So you come back in and...
Your throat's all dry. I just
just-
didn't say
yeah.
anything during the race. What can they help me with?
No,
There's
that's
2
right.
stints to go. I wasn't getting out.
No, that's true.
I was
you
locked
are,
in.
you are beyond help, Reynolds. There's no doubt
Yeah,
about
I know,
that.
thanks.
That's
Yeah,
definitely
cheers.
true.
It still sounds pretty shit
Appreciate
house,
you
to
guys,
be
man.
honest.
It's still not well. I still cough up heaps of blood in the morning. I should probably go to the doctor.
You should probably see somebody about that, mate.
Yeah, a doctor, a dentist. There's got to be someone.
My dad's a dentist, but he would
That's
be able to help me.
Now, AVL, mate, you've just been over at the MotoGP.
Yes, yeah, I just got
How-
back last night.
How
Yep.
good is MotoGP?
It is
Seriously,
great.
It is
that
great.
not
They're
the
just-
best form of motorsport in the world?
They're just in terms of passing and that sort of stuff. Like, I mean, the race at Sepang, it wasn't exactly a classic at the front, but there was still plenty going on. But they're just different breeds. They're
They're
totally
animals, aren't they?
different to you guys. Like in terms of if you look at Marc Marquez's crash in qualifying, just to be back on a bike the next day,
Yeah. Yep.
like that's got to hurt. Even just a normal low side where you go skidding down the road, it's got to hurt a little bit. If any
Yeah,
of us
that's
did
right.
that, you'd get up and go, I'm never getting back on a motorbike ever
Well,
again.
you probably wouldn't get up.
And these guys, yeah. But they're just, you can't have any sort of, it's not like you can park it in the gravel and go, oh, that's embarrassing. Like, you're on the deck every time. They're a different breed.
They are different. They're just
fun
animal people, aren't
yeah,
they?
it's
They're
fun.
just-
It's fun to interact with them for a weekend and just, like I say, compared to you guys, they're totally
Did you
different.
interview any of the riders?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who'd you speak to?
Oh, at some point, I'd say almost everyone. So they have scheduled media sessions. It's sort of different to how it happens
Works
in
in
supercars.
supercars,
So
yep.
every rider does a post, from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, does a media scrum.
Yep.
They're all set out at a time, so you just cruise around. You go to whoever you want to go and speak to, and you have the opportunity to speak to them. So across the course of the weekend, I would have spoken
Yeah,
to pretty
cool.
much.
And who's
everyone.
the personality-wise? Who was the pick of the pack?
You can't go past Jack. Jack Miller, he loves
he good?
he loves a good chat. Yeah, you know you're going to get a headline word out of him at some point. He's
Yeah,
still gonna- particularly when he's copped a few hits during the race, and he's going, "Oh, these
Yeah.
blokes are dive bombing me, and there's suicide moves, and it's all going on." So he felt a bit beaten up at the end of
What a
Sunday's
legend.
race. So it's he's a bloody great bloke.
You're
Sorry.
right, mate.
I'm all right. No, but they, like, motorbike riders, they are risking their life a lot more than we are, aren't we?
Oh, definitely.
They are just-
100%.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, there's no small crashes.
No.
Even a small crash, it's got to hurt. You can't
Yeah.
go sliding down the bitumen. Even I know the leathers are good and all that sort of stuff, but at some point you must go, "No, that hurt."
And
Yeah,
for them to
that's good.
learn to go faster, they have to fall off.
Yeah.
It's not like they can run a bit wide or whatnot. Or
Well, they look, didn't
They
they?
just-
Didn't hasn't Mick Doohan and all those blokes like lost fingers and stuff? you
oh
know,
yeah,
from
they
a
all
lot of
got
them,
missing
yeah.
fingers, missing
Toes,
toes.
yeah,
everyone-
toes tend to go.
They get ground out too.
Yeah.
From like leaning over.
I think the gear's better. You watch Marquez.
Yeah, the gear's much better.
He lays his knee and his elbow.
Elbow,
Like they
yeah.
use
Yeah,
it to
he always-
balance now. It used to be.
Just
It
the
used to
knee.
be balanced in terms of trying to sense how close you were to the road, but now it's literally use it to lay on the road. It's absolutely
Crazy.
amazing. So I think the gear it's helped with a lot of the injury problems. They got the airbag inside them and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But
And
still,
there's that spine thing to
Yeah.
stop them like hyperextending their spine when they shunt.
yeah. But still, if you're going to come flying off
Yeah.
a bike at anything over, let's say 50 kilometres an hour,
Yeah.
up to
let's say-
350 kilometres an
Yeah,
hour,
that's
somewhere in
right.
between there, it's going to hurt. It's got to hurt.
They say that the slower you go, the more you feel the accident. Because like it's like if you think about like coming off a bike at 200 k's an hour, it's a slower trajectory to the road, but
Yeah.
a slower one's like it's a dead stop down.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I've been told before, but
By bike rider.
yeah, by bike rider, yeah.
But if you look at like
What?
if you look at Marquez's crash, like he landed on his feet.
Yeah.
Like
What about his face?
He kept running.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It was actually the only MotoGP I've watched all year.
Yeah.
First time.
Oh,
all year.
really,
Yeah,
mate?
first
It is
time.
the best.
Yeah, I know, but I just
Dead set. There's been probably 6 or 7 races a year that have gone to the
Unbelievable.
last lap.
Yeah.
really.
And Marquez has been the standout.
Yeah.
Like he's won a lot of them.
Yeah.
But
doesn't he just drop back at the start and then pass everyone and win the race still?
Oh,
Rossi used
He had to
do,
go
used
the other. He had to go the other
bugger with
way.
everyone.
He had to go the other
He
way
started
this
11th,
weekend.
yeah.
He had to go, but he is just a. I think one of the big talking points of the weekend was in qualifying. He when he had that crash, he was sort of playing mind games with Fabio Quartararo. He was sitting right, just
Yeah, I
sitting
saw
there
that.
waiting for him to do his
Yeah.
run, and he copped a bit of heat for it. But people have been doing that to Marquez for years. He's
Yeah.
normally the guy people are following. But it just shows he's already wrapped up the world championship. He's won a heap of titles, you know.
it's number 8, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And he still plays those mind games, even if it makes him look unpopular, even
He
if he
still
looks
does it.
bad, because he just wants to win. He just wants to win more than he is just driven, that bloke. He just wants to win.
Do we
and
have
win
that
and
in
win.
Vin. I
supercars,
want to
mate? Do
Vin.
we have any of the mind game stuff in supercars?
I don't really know. Not really.
Huh?
Do we?
Well, I don't know. Like, well, I'm just trying to think.
Is
Who-
it,
who
is it,
plays the
Pittsburgh
mind?
used to play a couple, but that's kind of stuff.
What about off track? Anyone talk shit to you? Try to rev you up?
No, I've had a few people talk shit to me. What do you mean?
Well, I don't know.
Well, like
That's-
if
I
I
don't
say
know.
something silly on the show, they'll try and repeat it to me, and it doesn't work. Like,
It
I just
doesn't
laugh
work.
at them. They just look like fools.
Well,
Complete utter fools.
talking about shunts, there were some serious ones at the
Yeah, it was
Goldie
a
on the
big, big-
weekend.
Oh,
Two
yeah.
cars wrote off.
They're
Yeah.
done.
Completely gone.
Straight to the graveyard.
yeah,
know.
straight to the big
Haven't seen
car
that for a
park in the
very long
sky.
time.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, like the Chaz one. We're going so fast there now.
That's what it felt.
Honestly, we're
that's
going
what it
fast
felt
there.
like. Like
Yeah, we
you're
are going fast.
pushing now, right? Like there's just
No, we've always pushed cars to the limit. Like
Yeah.
we're not like we're trying any less than we did 5 years ago. It's just I don't know. It was just one of those things.
Oh, I think now the margin is different. Like you used to, if you made the 10, you knew you had, that separating the 10 would be at least half a second. Years ago. Now you could miss out by being only 2/10 off pole.
Yeah.
I always thought crashes happen less now because the cars are easier to drive because there's more aero. We are going a bit faster, but the tyres are better. There's more aero. We make less mistakes. There's less safety cars. People
Well, it's
crash
funny
less.
because the practice and qualifying, it felt like the races were going to be absolutely out of control. Safety car city, no cars left in the field because everyone was rubbing the walls. People are in the fence. And then we get in the race,
we
and
saw
they were
one,
the
we
two.
saw one safety car.
Yeah,
across
we
two
saw-
races.
Exactly, yeah. It was
Mental.
dismal.
Yeah, like you just don't expect that.
No,
Don't expect that
the
at
racing
all.
was weird, wasn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, Saturday's race
Yeah,
pretty much went 85% of the day of the race.
Yeah.
Nothing happened until they decided to leave that exhaust out for a few
Oh,
laps
no.
and wait for somebody to run over. What was that all
I've
about?
Seen an exhaust. I've seen an exhaust pipe laying out there a couple of times.
yeah.
One was at a not Homebush, Newcastle a
Yeah.
few years ago. I think 17. I think one of the Walkinshaw cars fell. The exhaust pipe fell off.
But like they were like the exhaust weighs.
No, this was the
What is
whole
it?
system. I think fell off.
Oh, so that would be a good 40 kilos. What I was saying like that.
No,
at
it's
least.
not a.
I know what you're about
It's a
to
normal.
say there.
It's a normal
one.
I
so
know
they're
what you're
probably
about
only
to
5
say there.
kilos. But it's still like a big piece of weight,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just hanging there. So
Well, it gave Percat it gave him a flat tire, didn't it?
Yeah.
When he hit it.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, we were watching it like, surely that's you don't have to be too smart to see that needs a safety car if someone hits it on the racing line, the exit of turn 4.
I know.
But yeah.
It was kind of off racing line, wasn't it? It
Well,
wasn't
it was
right-
up against the fence.
It was, but it wasn't. I don't know. I kept missing it. So
Oh, you're just that good.
well, no, I must take a different line than
All
everyone
right.
else.
I was on the fence coming out of there.
Were you?
I was using the fence as a bit of a burb.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
That doesn't work for me.
Why?
Because like as you hit the fence, it sort of picks up the rear a bit, and you get heaps of wheel spin. You can't use it to sort of.
Oh, mate,
It's not like GTA, like when we used to play as a kid, where you just hold it flat and drive around the outside to make up your time, smash the fence. It doesn't work like that.
Maybe the Commodores just, I don't know, it doesn't work for them like that.
Maybe.
What is working for the Commodores is that new aero package.
Absolutely, it's been really good, hasn't it?
You guys flogged everyone on the weekend.
Well, street tracks, it doesn't really. I don't think aero has. It has a small part to play, but not as big as what like Phillip Island or Bathurst or a high-speed flowing track
But
would
you
do.
still need it. Like everyone was running pretty much max wing on the weekend, so they're using it. It's not like they're not running it.
Yeah, we used it. Yeah, definitely. But it's going to hurt us probably come Sandown.
This week.
Yeah, because we can't take as much off as what you blokes can take off.
Well, you can.
No, we can't.
Why not?
I don't ask me. I'm just the organic component at the end of the day.
So you can't lay the rear wing down?
You can, but then it's not what it was. We can't. Apparently, we can't get as much off the rear of the car as what you guys can.
Yeah, but that's because you just added it.
Added a shit ton. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you
so with
guys
that,
can still
yeah,
can still manipulate yours more effectively than what we can. Apparently, that's the story.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Allegedly, I can't say that.
I mean,
because I'm making probably shit up.
Well, it must have made a difference on the weekend because really, at the end of the day, like if you saw Scott, like he hit the fence on Saturday in qualifying pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like just to get to where he was pushing hard. I mean, you don't have a shunt like that cruising. So
No, he was sort of
was
nudging
kinda
walls and
out of
stuff
character as well.
all
weekend.
weekend. You know, it's it was
out of character.
yeah.
But he was having to push hard to be where he was. Do you know what I'm saying? Like in the race, the T8 guys flogged everyone on Saturday. They made it look easy.
They've always got really good tyre life there. I don't know what they do, but they've always got really good tyre life at most street tracks, Sandown especially. Even if you take all that twin spring out, they've probably still got really good tyre life. So they do have very good street cars, so you can't take that away from them.
It
Same
certainly
with our
feels
cars.
like just to circle back a tiny bit. It feels like that the aero parity thing has definitely settled down.
Well,
since
I think it
that's
has a
two
little bit,
rounds
yeah.
in a row. It definitely feels like play
it's-
on a little bit more. Like
It's more even, definitely.
Yeah, and even with the Nissan, the Nissan seems to be going a little better as well.
Absolutely.
Like it all kind of feels like it's settled into an okay spot.
Yeah.
It's a shame that it took until Bathurst for that to be the case, but it definitely feels like now that's 2 rounds in a row where it's not something you've even really thought about much over the course of it. Certainly from where I'm sitting, you don't sort of go, well, they're getting this or whatever. It just felt like
Well, you look
we're
at the
going
time
motor
sheet and
racing.
it doesn't look so one-sided.
Yeah,
No,
correct.
But I think what is highlighted now though, the racing is as the
It's good.
as the downforce. No, you think
Oh no, sorry.
it's getting worse? Like on the weekend,
yeah.
it was near impossible to
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
It was actually
We saw
like you hadn't need
so
to have
many mistakes into 4 and 11 where
Yep.
guys obviously just you have to throw so much at it
To make it- to
try and
try and get
execute
it.
a pass. Yeah.
really the only way you're passing people is if you had a massive
Tyre advantage.
Tyre
Yeah.
advantage. Yeah,
Like
that
when
was really
when I
it.
dive bombed you.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
That was the below the bonnet cuff. I was
Yeah,
enjoying that.
Well, I was sitting duck, wasn't it? You
Yeah,
had like
you were
20
done,
newer
Ace.
tyres. There was
you were
no
done.
chance.
But didn't at one point at one point you were holding up one of the AAA cars, not holding them up, but you were helping Reynolds get back into the game. It was
Wing Cup.
Yeah, there was a nice bit of
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
There was a bit of team
I
orders.
tried to
There was
pass
a bit
Wing
of
Cup
te-
like
team
he
orders.
half blocked me for it. So.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. You were helping me out a little bit actually.
Was I?
You would have known about it. but
No,
you
I
weren't.
wouldn't know what was going on at that stage.
That was the thing. I was enjoying it. I was like, yeah, this is good. This is team orders. I'm liking this.
I was thinking.
Well, I think we were still trying to go for third because
Yeah, we were racing for third, definitely.
Yeah, at that point, they were saying to me, obviously, just try to stay with the T8 guys.
Yeah.
When Shane went by, which obviously was becoming difficult given the tyre overlap. But I was hanging in there for a while, and they said, right, Dave's next. Just try to keep him behind. I had no idea that we were actually
Racing each
racing
other.
each
Oh, really?
other.
Yeah.
Sort of, well, as in we were going to drop out close to
Really
you guys.
close,
So they obviously there wasn't much chat on the radio at that stage, but when I came back in and then we dropped out, I think we dropped out 4th or something, but a couple seconds
Yeah, we
behind.
were only
so.
like a second behind us.
Yeah.
It was very,
Yeah.
very
Well,
close.
And
Very,
we had
very
to do
close.
something different because we started 8th.
And you got
And
stuck
as you
in that
said,
train
yeah.
behind Yulden.
That
behind
was
my trusty old driver, holding everyone up. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
it was a serious train congo
It was,
line
wasn't
going
it?
on.
Yeah.
Bit of a trolley
For a
train.
while.
The old trolley train.
There wasn't a lot of passing going on, was there? No. So
And
it actually saved your race. You went from effectively 8th to 3rd.
Yeah, well,
then-
and then we had to change the strategy up just to try to pass people. We had to try to do it another way. So
Because
Which is super game.
you went longer. You went longer than you normally would, wouldn't you?
I
Didn't
think
you?
we went to 60,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere
He did
around
2
there.
stints and Waters did
Yeah,
one.
it was.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the sort of flexibility that that's what we're seeing with teams that are signing guys like yourself, or whether
Exactly
it's Garth or
right.
Lownsy.
He's
You
technically
actually
a main
open-
driver.
Yeah, you actually
He's been in
open
the
that
series for 10 years,
flexibility, that flexibility to do that up, because there's plenty of other teams who were on lap 34. You're coming in, good,
Get
great,
out, yeah.
good on you. But now let's get the big boy driver in and go
Yeah.
after a result. Whereas it just opens up, like you say, when
Yeah.
if you're a bit out of position or whatever, what a handy option for teams
Well,
to have.
that's what we said to Luke, because we said you're not going to compete with Lowndes and Tander.
Yeah.
Like, for once, I can probably honestly remember that the co-drivers won more races than the main driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gisbergen and Tander.
Yeah.
Like, what an unbelievable combination that's going to be.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Luke, don't go out and try and match him, because you'll probably end up crashing or stuffing up or losing more spots that way. Just do what you can, bring it home the best in the best spot you can, and unfortunately, fortunately,
Well,
it
you're
was
still
third.
in third.
Yeah, no, it was great.
That was a great drive. Great drive from
Oh, it was
yourself
awesome.
at the end there. Luke did a
Dude,
great.
Mike was amazing.
Yeah.
Mike was so good.
Yeah,
But
and-
Luke did a fantastic job
Yeah,
for us
good-
and set
good.
up the race that we could get that third.
Yeah, and he'd had a tough run up until then.
He's had a
there's
super tough run, yeah.
There's no sugarcoating that. So good result for him, and
Yeah,
I'm sure
good confidence booster.
Sure he needed it, and that's
Definitely.
we know what he's like. He'll bounce back from that, because that's just how his
Yeah,
personality
he
is.
goes pretty good
needs-
at Sandown
yeah,
as well.
he needs
so.
that. But he should be set to jet. He always goes good at Sandown.
Yeah, he does.
He's won the qualifying race there before, has he? Or he's
Yeah,
always
you
been.
guys
He's
were on
nearly
pole a couple
he's
of
nearly
years ago.
We were
almost
on
at the
pole
front
last
there,
year. And then
Last
I
year?
qualified in 17. I was fastest qualified. Then he won his race. And then
Yeah.
I finished third in my race. I
Yeah.
had a terrible start, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, really. The next one at Sandown,
The Penrite Sandown 500.
it is going to
Yes.
be all about qualifying again.
You
I mean,
reckon?
it is every weekend. I think it's more than ever. There's going to be
No, I reckon
no
it's all about
safety
tile
cars.
after.
Yeah,
You
but
gotta have
they've
you gotta have-
resurfaced the track, mate.
Not all of it though.
Yeah.
Only
Well, they've
bits of it.
resurfaced 6. They've resurfaced the last corner, and last corner is probably the worst for tyre
Have
deck.
they?
Yeah.
I haven't been around there recently, so
Haven't
I
you?
can't. No.
What do you mean?
Well, when was the last time I went to Sandown?
I don't know.
Gonna guess last September.
Exactly.
But I just saw a photo of you at Sandown with this. What are you doing? Curb the rage?
Oh, my
Oh, that's
anti-road
right.
rage camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you reckon?
Well, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
No, of course.
It's
I
my
mean,
own silly
anything
idea I played. I've been scheming for about 2 years. Myself and my manager, John Ruggiero, have sort of made it all happen. So, yeah. Because
That's great.
no one's really targeting road rage, is there?
No.
There's like,
No.
every time I turned on the news on Sunday and there was a road rage incident that led to a stabbing.
Yeah.
What's wrong? Yeah, no shit. What's wrong with people?
Yeah.
How do they get to
That's
that point?
mad.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's like it's not just abusing each other on the road. They actually come like with bats and they bash each other and drag each other to the car, and it's gone mental. So this is my little like community initiative to try and get the conversation started, to try and figure out why, how can we make it better. Yeah, so
So what
it's gonna
type of
be a
stuff are we
journey.
going to be doing?
hey.
What type of stuff?
It has to be fun, so we're making a lot of videos taking the piss.
Yep.
So yeah,
Well, that's unlike you.
it's got to be enjoyable. Like otherwise, I'm not going to do it. If it's too serious, if it's about, if I'd make a road safety thing about speed, well, that sucks. Because one, I like speeding. Like, so
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I'm
in
good
a
at it. I get
safe
paid to do it.
environment. Yeah.
Um,
But that's
and-
the thing. I mean, the big thing.
But I'm not a rager. I'm always
You're
quite
not a
calm.
rager.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not, am I? If I have
Nah.
a crash with someone, I'm like, well, that didn't go good for us today, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Like, I hate it when that happens. I always think of the positive side. And,
But the
I'm just
big
a bit
thing,
different.
the big thing that like a lot of people say, oh, you're a race car driver, you want to drive fast on the road.
Yeah.
we
The
don't.
thing, yeah, you,
No.
We're just happy cruising.
yeah. Well, I mean, for someone like yourself, I would have thought you'd roll up 10, 15 minutes late to everything. Hey?
No. Why would you say that?
Well, I don't know. You're a big superstar. Everyone
I'm
can wait around for
early
you.
to
they just
everything.
Wait for me.
I'm early to everything.
Are you?
Well, yeah, we were like 5 minutes early today. Thank you.
Actually, you were early today.
Thank
You were
you.
good today. But like the biggest thing for race car driver, you can drive around fast in the racetrack.
Yeah.
Like for me, because something does go wrong, which can happen, and we just saw it on the weekend multiple times. Like you have safety people there at the site. Like people are at the car within 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's someone there. So that, and along with doctors, you can get airlifted out of there, whatever. Like if something goes wrong, like you're gonna be in the best.
Well, for one thing, all the cars are generally going in the same direction. That helps as
that's
well.
probably
There's
the
not
main thing.
someone whizzing the other way.
There's not a car pulling out in front of you.
Yeah. So you can obviously do those things, and our sport's seen as a very dangerous sport, and I get that. But if you look at other sports where people have hurt themselves
Severely
to what
bad.
we have, like we're in a pretty good stead at the
mate,
moment.
absolutely.
And those
Absolutely.
two shunts, and even your teammates up at Bathurst.
45G it was. It was a huge bell ringer. That's a big shunt.
That is.
Well, Chaz's was what, like 30, I think.
Yeah.
Scott's is 42 or something.
Yeah.
And they all walk out of it.
Yeah, they all get out and they all walked out of it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Anton was drinking piss on the Sunday night.
Just a slight headache.
just to confuse things a bit more. I don't know if he was, but I like to think he was. He was that hard. He's one of my own sons.
But that's good. That's good, Red. Like the road rage thing. That's
it's cool. It's going to be fun, man. So we're going to roll it out and see how it goes. Try and get some support.
What's in the little? What is it? The air freshener's the first thing coming out, isn't it?
Yeah. So we made like a little. It's called the first program's called Chill. It's trying to make everyone relax on the road. So we made these little air fresheners to hang on your car for some.
Have you got some for us or?
Yeah.
Well, I don't actually have any yet. I should have some today. It's literally going to arrive today for me. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'll give them to you later. How's that?
Yeah, no, I'd love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll bring
it on.
So just give me some support in any way, shape or form. I'll use you in videos or whatnot. So it's going to be fun. I've got some really stupid creative ideas. So.
Stupid creative ideas.
There we go.
Yeah,
I'm sure we can help you out with something at some point,
Yeah,
mate.
good.
If it's for a good cause, we can do that.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah.
Speaking of
it's a non-for-profit, so any money we do make, we're going to give to like a road trauma foundation or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jeez, you're a good Samaritan.
Well, I'm trying to.
You're doing good for the community, mate. Speaking of the Penrite Sandown 500 coming up this week, where it's race
We're
week.
here.
I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting as those new brown shoes that you got, mate.
Well, I bought them for retro round because
Oh,
we
here
were
we
going to
go.
dress up in retro outfits today, but
that didn't work.
no.
Yeah. and you almost forgot to tell me that, and I could have looked like a
I'm so
right
sorry.
dick sitting here.
Did you have something?
No, that was the thing. I was scrambling because I only got back last night, and I was like, "What am I going to do?" And I thought, "Oh, I better just double check before I go to any sort of effort." Rock up here
We
wearing a
should have
Yorkshire
stitched him
flat
up.
cap.
That would have been great.
We always dress kind of retro
At
anyway,
least,
so.
I'll take that as a compliment. I'm not sure if it was meant
It's
to be.
got, like all journos are kind of got their own little style, don't they?
Yeah, I suppose so. Fogues likes to wear that. He wears the hat with the retro hat
press.
with the press thing in it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was that's what
That's
I
his
should have
era
called
though,
him.
so it suits him.
Yeah,
that's
true.
true.
Yeah, that's right.
What would you call your style with that Harry Potter little thing going on?
The glasses?
No, this.
Oh
little-
yeah, see.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
let's just chuck that.
Have
on.
a look
That's
at
not
it.
that
Piece of
cool.
hair
That's
that
just a bit
looks-
of
No,
The
mate,
shape
it
of
looks
Harry
good.
Potter
It
looks
looks
good.
good.
Yeah, that's
You
just
got
a
the
bit of wavy.
glasses.
That's called fresh off the plane chic, I think it is from. Oh dear.
That recycled
Thanks,
air.
boys.
Anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
we ran a great competition.
Yeah, we did.
Below the
We
bonnet
had some
signs
funny,
getting made.
Oh,
funny stuff gets
It's
sent
been
in. Hey,
so
like,
much fun. It's
I
been
know.
so much fun.
It has been really good.
Thank you for everybody that entered. It was amazing. Like, the response that we got was pretty cool.
Amazing.
Go to all
Yeah.
those events and see stuff, and everyone that sent stuff in. So thanks for doing that.
It was.
It's we have a winner though,
Who we
Paul Rossi.
got? Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it had to
he's-
be. It had
Nah,
to be.
like
But
I
there
was on the
so
fence
many
about
good-
that.
Yeah.
Paul did good for us, but the Amalfi Coast one for me was the best.
I wonder why. That was very good. You can't
It
say
was
it
great.
away.
It was.
But,
It was great.
I got outvoted, so
But Paul and his mates,
I love Paul. He's a legend.
They went.
He's a good
They were
fella.
at Bathurst. They were at the Gold Coast. They
They
were
set up
flying
at
the
Bathurst was
flag.
out of
Mate,
control.
I went up there. It was.
Oh,
I actually went up there and saw him on the
you had to sign it.
Saturday. Yeah, I signed it right on your forehead. Right on your forehead, I signed. I went up there. They gave me a little stubby holder from their can pole corner. It's called. Their
All
can.
right.
Bloody brilliant.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool setup.
Is
And
that
then again,
that totem pole that they
Yeah.
make full of cans?
Yep.
It's just like
That's
hundreds of cans
That's
into
exactly
a totem
it.
pole.
Yeah. Geez, it looks like fun.
Yeah, I know. It looks like a lot
I
of
was
fun.
questioning my
Sinking
career
piss up on the
choice.
top
I
of
was
the
questioning
hill.
my career choice a lot, thinking I had to go back to work. I was
I do
thinking,
the
man,
exact same thing every time I go.
I
up there. I'm
could
like,
just be,
man,
I
I'd love
could just
to be
be
a
sitting
punter.
up here.
I'd love to be a punter one year
Good
and
on
just go up there and just
Good
enjoy.
on
and
him.
miss the race
Well, yeah, of course,
just for 1 year.
in 10 years. Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
decade date. Yeah, you'll,
Well,
have
I've
to,
signed up. For
you'll
10
be able
years,
to
I still
spend that
can't-
10 million bucks somehow. You can sit
Yeah.
up there and get.
I'm gonna hit you after this.
Anyway, but thank you for all the signs and
Yeah.
stuff. Thank you to
Yeah, that
everyone.
was awesome.
They were absolutely brilliant. And there's, I think there was, the one on the way down to the MotoGP, down to
Yeah.
Phillip Island.
Yeah, that was
a
pisser. Yeah,
that
that
was
was
an
great.
absolute
Yeah.
cracker. There
Actually, there was one. We've made it onto a race car.
was. Oh yes,
Speaking
Yeah,
of
yeah.
below the bonnet,
yes.
how
Someone-
good is that?
Is that's overseas? It
I
wasn't.
think
that
it's
over
in the Formula Ford, isn't
Formula
it?
Ford in UK, they had like a little below the bonnet sticker.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Brilliant.
Hilarious.
Absolutely
I love
brilliant.
it.
Yeah. Well, so thank you, everybody. It's been great. We'll see Paul at the Penrite Sandown 500 this weekend. He'll probably do a tour at your garage, no doubt.
Probably.
Give you a high five. It's so, AVL, what have we got in the news, mate? What's going on? What's the latest? Because there's been a bit going on lately.
Yeah, there's definitely been a bit going on.
A
So
few drivers are signed up at some teams.
yeah, there's So I think probably team orders is something we should talk about. So that was something that came up on the Gold Coast again. I think there seems to be a bit of misunderstanding about team. Obviously, we're rolling off the back of Bathurst, which
Yeah,
started
which
off. Which started
We
off.
actually never really spoke about the decision,
Oh.
did we? Are we going to or not?
What can we say?
We can do.
Yeah,
Look, I think
Well, I
it's-
don't think so. We
yeah,
can just,
Everyone.
everyone. Yeah.
There was-
had
there
their
was-
say.
there was a
Majority of
decision.
people are disappointed with
just
the
so
decision.
disappointed at it.
I think that's a fair assumption.
If you went garage to garage and ticked a column that said satisfied or disappointed,
Yeah, it's a
I have
bit
to
of a
say you
sad
probably end
face.
up with more on the disappointed side.
Yeah.
But that's where things are at. And if you go through the decision, you can see where and why it did play out, how it played out. But anyway, that's how it is. So team orders came up again on the Gold Coast because we had on 2 occasions 888 found themselves in a position where they could ask drivers
To do something.
To not fight.
to not fight. A lot of misinformation about, well, if you can do, if DJR Team Penske do it, they get in trouble and 888 don't. You have to remember that what 888 did is, under the current rules, allowed.
Yeah.
You're allowed to swap your cars around.
Yes.
There's absolutely, or hold position or do whatever you want. There's absolutely
Well, they didn't swap their cars around.
no,
They
but
just
even
had
if
they
they,
held.
but even if they did, you're allowed to, as long as you're not affecting other cars
in the race.
in the race. And as long as you're not... So the way the team orders rule is structured changed slightly at the end of 2017. But basically, it's unofficially known as the DTM rule. And it's known as the DTM rule because you can't have manufacturers. You can't have somebody from a manufacturer asking you're not allowed to help Jamie Whincup. That's what it basically comes down
Because
down
I'm a
to.
Holden driver. I'm
Yeah,
not allowed
and
to
you're
help
not allowed to help... Well, you could help Chaz Mostert. You're not allowed to help Scott McLaughlin. Just because you're driving
Yeah,
it
'cause
forward.
you're in it.
That's what it's all about. Being able to stop. And I think
Why would
I think if-
there's
if-
no alliance though from team to team?
perhaps there was more so in the past, and I think it
I think-
stems back to 2006 and to the last race at Phillip Island in 2006.
Yeah, but
them.
there was
Remind me
more.
what happened then.
That was
Rick Kelly
Rick
versus
Kelly.
Craig
Oh,
Lowndes
yes.
for the title.
But there was blood. The blood bond is probably bigger than a actual bond going on there.
But
wasn't there?
I think a lot of it. I think a lot of it does.
True.
I think a lot of it does stem back to that, and perhaps there was a bit more support from manufacturer being spread around teams back then. So
Yeah.
there was more.
Well, there was more
Definitely,
manufacturing
absolutely.
money spread across everywhere.
That's
and
right.
There was a lot more
So there was
Holden versus Ford.
So there was more potential for manufacturers to maybe go, like they do in the DTM,
Yeah.
go, well, because in the DTM you are a manufacturer car. The teams are kind of irrelevant. So to cut a long story short, the rule does allow, it was tweaked in 2017 to allow you to
move your cars.
move your cars if you want to.
If it
Which
doesn't-
I actually personally don't have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with
I
it.
don't have a...
Well, I don't. It's nearly impossible to control anyway. They're the people that are
That's
paying
the
the
thing.
bills. Like if Roland gets on the radio or
Yeah.
Tim Edwards or whatever and says, "Righto, we need you to," you've got to listen to it. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's basically.
If my team car was on a different strategy to me and I was holding them up, ruining
gonna
their
let it
race,
go.
I'd,
And most of the
that's
time,
right.
when you're
but
under
the
the
team
same
knows that,
boom,
so they
Yeah.
would swap the cars around and
Yeah.
make it
Most of
Easy.
the time, it's happening a lot anyway, but people probably just don't focus on it because it's happening for 10th or it's happening
That's
for
right.
5th. That
Yeah.
when you've got two cars in
One
the
and
same
two.
race, well, just in general in the same race under the same boom,
Yeah.
they try to split the strategy. So
Yeah.
most of the time, you're going to come across your teammate, at a different point of the race.
Yeah.
So
And he's going to get out of your way.
yeah,
if he
he's going to
needs
get away. You need to get out of his way, just because that's just how it works. You're not actually racing him for position because you might be on a different strategy altogether. So I understand. I think that's fine. They don't need to change that.
I agree. I think so. The way the rule, because the rule was tweaked a couple of years ago, the way it's written is really confusing. So the rule is basically split in two parts, and it starts off with a definition of what a team order is, but it doesn't actually prohibit that. But because it's in the rules, you feel like,
Huh?
yeah, it is very
Confusing.
confusing. So the rule says here's what a team order is, but doesn't say you can't do it. Just says what it is, and then underneath says that a third party or a sponsor or a manufacturer can't influence the race.
So who writes the rules?
Well, the rules were they're supercars rules,
Yeah.
but they
But who actually writes them?
that's I'm guessing supercars.
Yeah, but who? Like, there must be
I don't know
somebody
who sat down
responsible
and
for it.
so
Or do they just vote on it?
That
or
tweak that
it's this imaginary person, godlike person.
That tweak happened. That tweak. Obviously, when you're talking about rule book, sporting rules and stuff, we're talking about different levels. So we've got the FIA. We have the International Sporting Code, and then there's the CAMS. Is it the NCRs, the National Competition? Whatever.
Very
Anyway,
nice.
There's lots.
There's different tiers of this thing that all. I'm pretty sure the last sort of overhaul of the rule book was when Michael Massey was still here. That was when that slight change was made.
That wasn't that long ago.
No, it was end of 2017. That's when a few of those little tweaks were made. But I think one of the recommendations from the stewards out of the whole Bathurst thing was that team orders regulation needs to be clearer. So basically, the stewards.
Any time that happens, there's always say we need a clearer rule.
Yeah.
Hey, every time there's always we need a clearer rule.
I think because the rule's been tweaked, that's where the confusion comes from. That just needs to be redone to be exactly what it needs to be.
So what do you think it should say?
I think it should basically. I do think teams should be able to move their own cars around.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
At the end of the day, but to be in a position to swap your cars around or hold position, you've engineered
a race.
an advantage to
So
yourself.
going off that-
the only way to do it, you can't start swapping cars around if you're parked under someone's rear wing.
Yeah.
And if you like at some point they might have had to have let Jamie go on Sunday if you were going to pass him.
Well, that was my intention.
Yeah, but they just
I was trying to catch him
but
to
they
do
were,
that.
They were just quick enough to be able to play their game.
It was going to be
Yeah.
difficult to pass him, wasn't it?
I would have had a go. I had nothing to lose.
Anyway,
couple laps to go.
I think if they're going to rewrite the rule, just make it clear you can move your cars as long as you don't affect anybody else's
Yeah.
race. To me,
So
that's
basically,
clear.
going off, if they do something like that, you definitely can't do what happened at Bathurst.
No,
anymore.
well that's completely.
you can't do
that's
it anyway.
completely different.
No,
'cause
they
that
got
affected
done for
everyone.
unsportsmanlike behaviour. They
That
didn't get
affected
done.
not just their own car, but everyone else around them.
Yeah, but that was unsportsmanlike behaviour, effectively.
Well,
Was it?
remember they moved away from the team order, so
Yeah.
that ended up not. It started as a team orders breach, and then they realised this is where the stewards went. Hang on a minute, this rule isn't going to make sense in terms of what's happened here. So then it switced to an FIA rule, which is something that was brought up on our show a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah,
I've been thinking about how to fix that. You know how they could probably fix that?
yeah.
If we just race the safety car line, if it was green until the safety car line, and then the safety car would be after the safety car line, and then
But what happens
you
if
just
you go
you just-
past the incident, though?
Well, it's just be a yellow flag like any scenario. So then you could still pass cars that are going super slow or trying to stuff everyone over. You just keep racing until you get to the safety car line. Would that make sense? That actually would probably fix all that problem.
I feel like the problem is probably going to get fixed by just the
Just
whole
that.
saga we've been through.
Yeah.
Like it's been such a big. The
Such a big drama.
spotlight's been thrust on it
Well,
in such
it
a
should.
dramatic
It's the
way.
be-all and end-all of motorsport.
Yeah, I think I
Bathurst
just
1000.
can't see it being something that I know. Even if you argue that the penalties weren't all that severe, I mean,
No, they weren't.
do you really
They
think
weren't.
it's going to
They
happen?
were
Do you really
terrible.
think people are going to start doing it on purpose? from now on.
If if you could win Bathurst for $150,000 and 300 team point penalty,
You'd take it every year.
I'm telling you.
Well, that'll be interesting then. We'll see. I just don't. I can't actually see teams going, that's cheap. Let's do that next year.
Well, they might not be
I
as
don't think
blatant,
so.
but they'd take the punt on it, don't you think?
We'd run a third car, a wild card. Hey, mate, just at
Park it in the
lap
sand trap.
60, sorry, 141, just put it in the sand, can you?
Oh, that was convenient.
Yeah. That was convenient.
Well, we'll see, won't we? If that is, I personally don't
Now,
think
Herbie,
that's
now.
going to be the.
But mate, the
that's gonna be
sport's
the
getting
outcome,
more
but
and more
let's see.
competitive, and you look around the world in sport, the lengths people go to nowadays, and this is why we have to be so protective of how things play out,
Yeah.
because people are going to more and more lengths every year, aren't they, in all sports, to make sure
Absolutely.
that they have an advantage or they can win, to ensure that they've got the best opportunity to do it. And that's why the integrity of that race, in my opinion, needs to be protected.
Oh,
It needs to be, 'cause
I agree
the
with
minute
that.
The minute that is tarnished, people are just going to be like, well, why are we watching it if we know people are going to take the piss?
But out of all this drama
That's
that's
all I
happened,
think.
all this drama, all the parody stuff this year, all the stuff at Bathurst, all the dog shit we've had to put up with, it's actually been a great year because everyone still talks about it.
Oh,
week
yeah.
in, week out.
Yeah.
Even after the race is done, it's finished, everyone's still talking about it.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps talking about it. And for me, with all the parody stuff, it's actually created, for the first time in my supercars career being part of the sport, it's actually created a big divide between Ford and Holden. It's back. It felt like it's
Yeah.
been back. And I've never
Agreed.
had that in my entire life. And now I can categorically say that there's definitely Ford fans and there's definitely Holden fans.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
And
I
they
agree.
are way more vocal than I have ever noticed. And I actually love that. I think that is fantastic.
That's a great point, and I think
It
you're
is so
100%,
true,
I
isn't
think
it?
you're 100% right. It feels like there's
It's back.
a bit of ferocity to the rivalry again
Yeah.
that had definitely gone missing.
And next year there's no Nissan, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be back to where
Ford and Holden.
exactly
Ford and
right.
Holden.
Yeah.
With
That's right.
two more Fords on the grid.
Yeah.
It's going to be epic.
Yeah.
I actually, even though it's been a terrible year as far as everything we've
Yeah.
talked about, but that's the only real positive that I think that's come out of it.
Yep. That's great. You're
It's
right.
true though,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Absolutely.
100%
Yeah,
true.
I agree. Couldn't agree
Yeah.
more.
They're the diehards.
We're still talking about it. We're still talking about Bathurst. It finished 2 weeks ago.
No, that's
3
right.
weeks ago. We're still talking about it.
Yeah.
And
I
the
know,
ramifications and how to make it better and not
And it
happen
might
again.
go quiet in the next couple of months, but I can guarantee October next year
It's still going to come back. Exactly, yeah.
it'll be talked about again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, but boys, Enduro Cup
Hey,
this
who's
weekend,
winning?
the grand finale. I think Garth and SVG.
are they?
Oh, yeah.
They're up for the
Yeah.
big 1550. No, it just goes to Garth
No.
because he's the...
The Enduro
No, the
Cup.
Enduro Cup, not the.
'Cause
Actually,
you're-
I'll pull.
you're
up,
running
I'll pull up some.
six.
Dude, I
points.
don't care about that. That's a waste of my time.
You're running six.
oi.
Actually, weren't you leading the hard charger thing or whatever it was?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was. After Bathurst,
the
I
bad,
was.
the bad qualifying
Well,
award.
basically, that's an award for the worst qualifier in the grid. Because the bloke on pole's not going to win it, is he?
No, no.
No,
It's-
well, we're
they've
last.
given it an award.
Cam and I last in it.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, because you qualify at the front. You race at the front. You're not making any moves. It literally goes to the worst qualifier. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Well, it's like it's a decent chunk of money. It's like 15 grand or something.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean,
It's
like
more
you-
money for
Come,
being on
let's be
pole at
honest,
Bathurst.
like you need the 15 grand.
I could use it.
We're like Cam and I at 10, you're 6.
What about in
you
the
and
the
you're-
hard charger?
Oh, I don't. No, we're
Dun,
last.
dun.
We
Oh,
are
yeah?
last.
Well, no, I took a lot of steps back because we qualified well both days,
Goldie.
and I lost a lot of spots. We lost a lot of spots on the Saturday and
Oh,
made
did ya?
one spot on the Sunday. So, yeah, who's leading it?
Hard charger? I don't know.
I've got no
I don't
idea.
even know.
That's
I think it might be Webby or something, isn't it?
Mm.
Because
LeBrock.
actually, speaking of him, he was the
Web-
main
Web-
driver.
yeah,
up
yeah,
at the
took
Goldie.
main-
Yeah, that was weird.
That
took,
was-
took
that was
main
good.
driver.
That was weird.
Went sixth quickest in the co-driver practice and went, all right.
I'm on.
I'm in.
Racked up some points in the
Yeah.
coach.
Can't get any
Maybe,
worse.
maybe he's mounting a comeback next year. Maybe he's going to drive the second,
second
car,
car.
at the Sydney team.
He could.
There
Well,
you
he
go.
stamped his authority, and
Yeah.
didn't he?
He's back.
It's definitely been a.
Why wouldn't he?
It's definitely been an odd. You know the thing
But
about
he actually did all right, didn't he? Like when you look at it, wasn't his times pretty good relative to Jack's?
But let's not forget that Webby has won
Bathurst.
Bathurst. He's won a supercars race. He's been on the podium. He was on the podium right up until when he was still driving full time.
Yep.
Like, not a bad racing car driver by any stretch of the imagination. Probably never at any point in his career, if he'd really knuckled down and just focused on driving racing cars and not, other things going on with whatever else is going on in his life. Like, he's got talent, that guy.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
he did.
Yeah.
Well, I
Like
mean,
massive-
I'd like to
like-
tick Bathurst off.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's kind of easy now because he sort of comes into the enduros and doesn't do anything else, and that it's easy to forget the fact that the guy, at points in
race
his
winner.
career
Yeah,
has
definitely.
been
It's
like
fast.
a
Yeah,
really quick, good
Yep.
racing car driver, So, but I don't think he's going to make a comeback. But it was definitely an odd. It just shows it's such an odd relationship
Who-
that
who
Jack's
is
had
it?
with that team.
Who's in that seat in that second Sydney car? Because it's Courtney, and then
That's a good question.
is there anyone spring to mind? Or
There's been a few people linked to it. Will Brown's been linked to it.
the Swill?
The Swill, yeah.
That's such
Yeah.
a legend.
Is he going there? You know
I
it.
don't know.
Well, he could show up at Walkinshaws as well.
Right.
Good.
I think there's
Who's the second seat there? They're still looking.
that's
Have they confirmed
TBT.
Chaz yet?
No,
They haven't
no.
confirmed.
Nah.
They've technically got no drivers at the moment.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Surely that's happening very soon.
I get the feeling that it might even be a contract thing. It might be a first
till
of
the end of-
January.
Oh,
one,
really?
Happy
one,
New
one
Year's.
minute
Yeah.
past midnight.
Look what I got for Christmas.
Remember, I think the last one of those. Remember Russell Ingles? Russell
Oh, that's
Ingles,
right.
like in 2005. That
Mine
was
was the
announced
same as
at-
well when
oh, was
I
it?
went to Nissan.
Yeah,
I couldn't announce until January 1 as well.
yeah. So that's there could be a bit of that about that, maybe, I think. But the second seat there, I think that Will Brown's in the front. I don't think they've actually made a decision. There was actually some quite good talk on the Gold Coast that even Richie could be in the frame for the second
Oh, yeah, Richie.
WAU seat. But who knows where? I think things are changing
How about
a
his
lot.
weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Speaking
That was
of
crazy, yeah.
Poor Richie.
Yeah.
rolling up to the track
Oh,
now,
no.
mate.
You're not
back-
racing today, son.
head back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor fella. Can't
Yeah, that
believe
was
that.
definitely,
So
I've never seen that before in my life.
No,
No.
I've never seen on the day. No
No.
way.
No.
No, I've never
On the
seen
day. Sorry, mate. You're not required.
But he
today.
must have pushed Gary pretty hard to get to
Well,
that
I don't,
point.
you know Gary. You've worked with him.
Yeah,
more than
Gary's
anyone.
Gary's pretty straight. Like
Yeah.
you won't be blindsided. Well, I never was. And
Yeah.
Well, that's a
like-
blind side, isn't it?
no, but I'm saying as in like he would have. I'm guessing, knowing Gary, he would have warned him before this.
You reckon?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. He would have
okay,
been
yeah.
like,
You're
mate,
on your
you
last
need-
legs,
yeah,
yeah.
you know, shape up, or next time you're out.
Yeah.
I guess no one would expect
The race
at the
weekend.
the second,
yeah.
third day into the race meeting. So
Yeah.
he's normally
it
pretty
was a big
straightforward. mate.
statement to make, and it was such a public way to do it as well. It's not like docking wages or something like that, or like
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Doing something in the
It was
background.
it was a big, but he's back. He's back this weekend.
Yep.
So a chance to just get on with it for the last couple of rounds, and then sort of see where Richie ends up next year, whether it's a full-time role or a co-driver role or whatever. Remember, he's a Sandown 500 winner. That bloke.
Yeah, they won it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3?
2017. So,
17.
yeah.
Yeah, 17, 2 years ago.
Yeah. So this is a good chance for him to come and. They've actually been sort of going half okay, those guys, the last couple of rounds.
Yeah,
But,
their run at Bathurst was
They
good.
were looking
Yeah.
good at Bathurst.
Yeah.
They were looking real good. They had
Yeah.
fast
Until-
cars.
Until
Dun, 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 dun.
Anyway, so there's still a couple of seats. To come back to the news stuff, there's still a couple of seats that are definitely.
maybe Caruso will get up.
We need to play some
For a seat.
music.
There we go.
Anytime that in like safety car incident comes up, we need to like come up with some.
Needs a theme song.
Yeah, like
send us in your
yeah, like Keystone Cops or
yeah something. Yeah, let's get the fans to send something in. Send something into us, guys. What do you want us to play? We'll get something.
Don't
we
you
won't
reckon?
get anything off your phone though, because that'll be dodgy as.
Why? It's got viruses.
Yeah. Just like you.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Boys, this is it. The one thing we've been waiting for, the one thing I've been waiting for all year,
What is
the
it?
Below the Bonnet Cup.
Well, that's what I
Yeah,
thought you were talking about, the
grand-
Enduro
yeah,
Cup.
It's coming
like,
up. Finale.
450
The-
points on offer, boys. There's
Grand finale.
450 points to go. I've got a points update here.
Go.
Gartan is going to be hard to beat.
Of course
Well,
it is.
You need a big weekend. All you need
I have
is to
some
go in the
inside
wall.
information on that.
Oh, hang on.
Inside info. We can do
Right.
that.
What is it?
What? Tell us.
So, obviously, Chaz had the big shunt, right?
Yeah.
Didn't race.
Yeah.
They've got greens for days. So Moff is looking, and he's in P2.
He's only 132 points.
Mate, he is literally
Right.
P2 with greens for days, and he
but
will have,
what
like
a
Ty said,
tip.
either
I
done
suppose
one lap.
there's 2 practice sessions, so yeah,
No,
that's
there's
What a
2,
tip.
and then you got the race.
yeah.
So you got the 2 pracky sessions on Friday, the first session,
Yeah.
and then the last session on
So
Friday.
Moss going to take it out.
There's there's
Mate, he's-
450. There's 450
He's
points
actually
up for grab.
But to even add to that, I checked the weather this morning. It's raining on Friday.
So the greens might be no good anyway.
No, but he's in a Tickford car. They're amazing
Good
in
in
the wet.
Yeah,
But
it's a good
so
point.
there's a, in terms of mixing it up for the
Yeah,
big
that would-
finale,
that would-
like if it's raining on Friday,
Yeah.
that's 300 points.
Have you
Go on.
revved Garth up about this on RPM?
Oh,
Have you
he's-
given him a
He's
bit
acting cool as
of
a
a...
cucumber.
he pretends he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah.
Also, on RPM, I've got to say something.
Oh, here we
Oh,
go.
I watched
this is
it. I
good.
watched it.
Did you watch it on the
I
weekend?
watched it on Sunday.
Yep. How'd it
And,
go?
you know, like how, like in TV land, you've all got to be the same height.
Mhm.
Like you got to.
Oh,
They all
no.
adjust your right heights. Like everyone's like at a normal height, and then Caruso's belt's like above the table. I just couldn't stop laughing at
Because
it.
he's on like a booster seat
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like
I
that.
don't know why they
Holy
do that.
shit.
Even Kate was freaking out because she's normally a little bit taller than me when we sit.
Yeah,
And she was like, if anything, a little bit lower than me on the weekend. Like,
just
what's
doing a
going
head
on?
in.
Like,
I don't understand why they do that.
yeah, I don't know.
It's just-
it's a weird TV thing.
Yeah.
It's just if you, dude, it's so funny. You got to watch it.
Mate, when
back.
we stand up on the set, we've got this massive screen, and when I have to stand next to Garth, I don't know if it's TV. I mean, I'm obviously shorter than him, but it
course you
feels like it's, days. It looks weird. I have to stand ahead of him,
Yeah.
so it doesn't look as, as bad.
That's the Tom Cruise effect.
Probably my favourite height-related thing going on at the moment is there's like a poster that Supercars made at the start of the season, and it's got all the drivers sort of in a lineup, and it's obviously photoshopped a bit to push it around. But the tallest bloke is Lee Holdsworth.
No, it can't
He's
be.
just like at the
He's
back,
shorter than
and
me.
he's massive. Yeah, it's like, hang on a minute. He's not taller than Fabs and all that. It's like,
Ever since-
hang on,
espe-
mate, something's not right here.
He's shorter than me, even before he took, shaved his head.
So you're taller than him.
Yeah.
No.
Ask him this weekend.
All right, I'll ask him.
I'll get a photo of the poster. It's hilarious. It's
Yeah.
just great. It's yeah.
But
Anyway, so
back
it was
to the cup.
Sorry.
It was
Come on,
good.
mate.
Did you see that Giz did a bit of
Yes.
Instagram work
Yeah, the
during Garth's
co-driver's
session?
cup.
He said co-drivers cup's on, so it's spreading.
It's
How
the
good's that?
news is spread. No,
They're-
seriously,
they're-
it's
they're
been
into it.
awesome this year.
They're
but
into it. But let's just
We've
go
got,
back
we've got
to
a
those
couple
points.
of prizes.
What, for the co-drivers cup?
Yeah.
We do, mate.
And we're gonna need you-
$15.
We're going to need you to probably.
Are we allowed? Are Supercars going to
Well, I
allow
don't
us to
think
give
so.
it to?
We'll
give
have
it
to get
anyone?
Andrew to do it because we're part of the series and
Oh,
can't
so
be
you-
seen to be giving money to the drivers.
$15.50.
$15.
I don't think-
Well, sorry, it used to be $15, but then we were walking behind Seamer at Gold Coast
Yeah.
and he dropped 50 cents. So
Oh,
tally's
yeah,
gone up.
Tally's gone up.
15.50.
Seaman, thanks,
Mate,
brother.
but
Appreciate
like,
it.
jokes aside, $15.50, that's bigger than winning Bathurst. That's more money than you
Yeah.
get for winning the great race. That's the
Unbelievable,
type of
isn't
stuff. That's how generous we are
We're so
right
generous.
here.
We're
Yeah.
so generous. The
We're-
fake check has cost more than the actual money
That's
that we
amazing.
give.
That's great. $15.
That's true. The fake check costs
The
a
fake
lot more
check was
than the
150
15.
bucks. We're only giving $15 out.
Costs 10 times more than the price.
We're all about aesthetics.
That's brilliant. So anyway,
That's so bad.
Tander's going in. Garth's going into the last round with 132 points over Moff. Carouse, 207 points to make up, mate. You're in third place. You're a clear third now. You moved ahead of Lounsey.
It's a two-horse
Surprise.
race.
I
You've
probably
moved
let
ahead
my
of
run a
Lounsey.
little late.
It's a two-horse race.
Yeah,
mate.
Lounsey 213 behind, and Will Brown 225 behind.
That's a two-horse race. And Will Brown missed a session, don't forget.
Yeah,
Because
No,
he wasn't allowed
he's-
to drive at Winton because they got two young kids in.
Yep.
So
Oh, yeah. Yep.
he's had a DNF.
yeah. So technically,
DNS.
everyone down to 15th, to Ash Walsh in 15th, still mathematically in the game. Jeez, you'd need it'd take a pretty
But
big shunt.
jokes
for-
aside, with the two practice sessions and then the race,
Yeah,
it
It's all
doesn't
on.
take much, mate. Like it's
yeah. No, you're right.
like if you have if your main driver screws you over and has a bad qualifying, and that's no pressure, Cam.
Yeah, Waters. Pick up your
Waters.
game.
Get it on pole, please. Like if you start that race deep in the pack in the 60k race, you're not going to be just rolling through people.
No. No, well, no pressure for you and your quality because Luke actually made some spots up. He jumped up because he was right at the back. He's moved up to 18th, but he's
But jokes
483
aside,
points
I must be the biggest mover in the pack though, because wasn't I like 15th when we started this?
Yeah, you've come on strong the last 2 or 3 rounds.
You were
definitely.
nowhere.
Yeah, I was the hard. Do I get 15 grand?
your team
Hard
gave you-
charger.
Yeah. You are the hard charger.
The worst qualifier.
Actually,
so.
Webby was the big hard charger at that 6th in the Pracky on the Gold Coast.
Oh, really?
That really fired him up. He's up to 13th. That was he's right on Prema. On Prema.
Is this the last Sandown 500 ever?
It is.
Is it?
Could be.
Well, it is.
Well, you
Let's
never
see now.
quite know. We thought
It's over.
thought that it went to Queensland and it was all over and it came back and then it went to Phillip Island and it came back. So,
But the track that they've
is
gone
how
to-
long?
It's the
how,
boomerang circuit.
but how long is how
So they
long?
throw it away and it comes back.
But how long Sandown going to
come
be
on, that's
there?
a good
That's probably
joke.
the.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Have you got kids?
Not yet. No. I'm working up to it with my shitty jokes.
You can only tell a shitty joke
Gonna
like
be a
that.
good, yeah, you'll be a good dad joke teller.
Oh,
but
hilarious.
I guess the big question for Sandown is how long's the circuit actually going to be there? You know, there's been
Well, as long
stuff.
as that racetrack's around, as in the horse racing track.
Oh, I mean,
surely
I mean
until
the
that,
facility.
when that
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
that's when the racetrack
But
will go.
there's been rumours swirling around for years about what does the
But it's
Victorian
such a
Racing
good
Club
track,
do
though.
with it?
I
Yeah.
actually I rate it as a racetrack.
Oh, I love it. It's great.
There's
It's one of
a
the
few
big
reasons. I mean,
curbs.
driving it is great because it's old school.
Yep.
You know, with curb riding. You know, you got your long straights, 90-degree
It
corners.
feels dangerous.
It does feel.
I
well,
love
it is
that.
dangerous. There's been some huge shuts there.
I like tracks that feel dangerous.
When I sucked Avo in over the top,
Yes.
that'll get replayed about 100 times this
Yeah.
weekend.
That was a huge accident.
At least,
massive. What year was that?
no,
10,
09
11?
or something.
At least Webby
that long
did you a
ago?
favour by putting.
Yeah, that
Hazelwood.
actually
That
that's
was
put
probably
that was
Hazelwood
probably
in even
bigger,
harder.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll probably get replayed a few times.
Oh,
But back
think that'll
back
come
when he put Will into the fence, the fuel went spilling everywhere.
Yeah,
It was
Did it
really-
catch
was
on
like-
fire?
No, it didn't. It was disappointing.
Was that
disappointing?
was that when
It
they
like
didn't
not-
catch on fire.
No, but that was the fire era,
you want,
wasn't it?
like-
Where the fuel
Yeah.
tank was at the back and they did catch on
Yeah.
fire.
Even though
like,
you
pretty
don't
good.
want it to happen, but like it looks spectacular.
Oh, when it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would have singed his eyebrows. That's for
Poor
sure.
Will. I love
Yeah,
Will.
no, but it is like it's that old school type of track
Yeah.
to drive on. Really, really challenging. You know, it's only a minute long, so you know you're seeing the cars repetitively if you're watching trackside.
Yeah.
You know, pretty frequently.
Yeah. there's-
You can see virtually the whole track.
see a
You sit
lot
in
of
the
it.
you know
Yeah,
you sit in the
if you're in that big
grandstand.
grandstand there.
Nothing
which
better than standing on the front straight and listening to all the
Yeah.
packer cars go up the back straight.
Oh, the start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
start
just
at-
about to say, that's
that-
one thing
that
I've never done.
rumble
Yeah,
is
at the
amazing.
start, that would be probably the best spot to see. Just
Yeah.
that noise of everyone on the rev limiter, you know, in the grandstand. That
Yeah,
would be
but then,
cool.
then
to-
they go up the back straight and you can hear all the cars like
on the
rumble.
the echo.
Oh, it sounds so good.
Yeah.
But
That's
it
when
is.
I
It's a
actually
great track.
Really fell in love with the sport, I think.
But there's not many tracks, is there, where you can see virtually the whole track anymore. Everything's got big runoffs, and you got to be
It's
200
concrete
meters
jungles.
away,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. Like you're not as close to the action as you are.
No.
Like there's normally people up the back straight. Literally, it feels like they're only maybe 50 odd meters away
Yeah.
from the fence line. You know, having barbecues, whatever, all up
Yeah.
the back straight. So
I
it's
actually
pretty
don't
cool.
like live sport. I'm not a big fan of going to a sport live.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Didn't you
it's
just say you went to the UFC or something?
Yeah, but I still prefer it on TV. I'd much rather.
So
probably,
why'd you go?
I don't know. It was just an experience.
Shit
Well, you
fun,
just-
obviously.
No, like, I had a great
Did you have
time.
those like VIP seats right up
We
the
had
front?
reasonable seats.
With,
They were pretty good.
Was that the one in Melbourne the other week?
Yeah.
Wasn't that? What was his name? The Sons of Anarchy guy, Charlie Hunnam, or he?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he
Were
was
you
about
with him.
5 or 6 rows in front of us.
Yeah, right.
But
you wave at
Oh, so you were in the
prefer-
mix. You were in the mix on the floor down there. You were
Yeah,
sort
it was
of
okay.
close.
Yeah.
Did you wave at him?
Nah.
Was Sean Seamer there?
Yeah, he took us. Yeah, he was next to us.
Oh, did
There
he?
you go.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of live sport. Like I always much prefer it watching on TV, unless it's tennis. The only one I really like to watch live is tennis, because I don't know. You're there. You can see it all. It's all happening in front of
There's
you.
no live sport, and Caruso will back me up on there. You've
Soccer. Don't say soccer.
No, soccer in Europe is
Oh, mate.
amazing, and you have to be there. Yet TV doesn't even.
You know,
go
everyone talks about the
close.
AFL Grand Final.
Yeah.
Like, that's great atmosphere. That's every game.
Yeah,
over
try,
Yeah, I
there.
know,
try
I know,
round
but-
4 of the Bundesliga. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I've been,
like a
I've
grand
been to the
final.
MCG. I'm a member of the MCC. And-
Why, though? You don't
Yeah.
go. You just told us
You're
how
holding
shit
up
it
a
is for-
membership.
Well, that's the exact
There's
reason.
some bloke that's been on a waiting list for 30 years.
Well, that was
and
me.
You,
I was on
and
the
you're
wait-
not bothering to
My
go.
grandma signed me up when I was born, and she died unfortunately. And I got it when I was 30 years old. So I said, in her honour, I'll keep it going. So,
And not go?
well, I haven't been yet.
How
Had it
old are
4
you?
years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Haven't been yet. But,
Waiting till your contract runs out and you can go.
but I want to go. Maybe one day. I don't know. I'm
Why don't you
confused.
hand the tickets
Oh,
over
like,
for the grand final then?
Because you go into a ballot anyway. You don't actually
you
get
don't
them.
you don't
Oh.
automatically get one, and if you miss out in the ballot, then you have to go queue up at like 4 o'clock in the
Yeah, I'm
morning
not
to go
prepared to do that.
to go and get your
For any
ticket.
sport, not even my own sport.
Yeah.
But I'm just not a big fan of live sport. Like, I'd much rather watch it on TV. It's the TV, the commentators are there. You know, I've got my couch, I've got my own food.
TV coverage is amazing.
The
these
TV
days.
coverage is so good. Like,
It is absolutely.
It
It's
is
pretty
so
good,
much
really.
better.
It's like the coverage of Below the Bonnet. How good is that?
Oh, it's amazing. Look at
I can't believe you just said that.
The
Thumbs up.
voice. Yeah. Talking
What
shit.
legends.
it's good.
I don't know. Like, what's a good live sport to go to?
I just told you.
The
Go get on
football.
a plane to Europe.
Go watch the Champions League final or a World Cup final.
Really?
If you want to be rocked, if you want your mind blown,
It's when
but
you
I
see a
don't- I
goal.
don't-
When you see a goal scored in
Which
a proper
happens,
European
what,
football.
once every
everyone-
like 4 games.
No, mate.
Come on.
mate, it's not the 60s. Relax.
It is amazing. There's no sort of just release of energy in any
Mate,
other
it's out of
sport.
control.
Is it?
It's, yeah, when there's
If
a
you
goal
guys
scored,
love-
you got to
you guys
think like
love
if there's
soccer, I don't-
80,000 people and at least 40 of them are flipping out in a little square dome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's brilliant.
It's
not-
electrifying.
It's not as big as the MCG, hey? The
No,
MCG
well,
is quite big.
well,
Because when I went
the
there, it was
emphasis-
too big.
Yeah,
Like,
it is too big.
everyone, like, I needed binoculars to see the cricket players because they look like little ants in
Yeah.
the distance. So I was like, oh, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, it is too big.
It is too big, yeah.
The MCG, but that's because the game requires that type of field, isn't it? Or
Oh yeah, but I mean the actual stadium itself, like I think it's because we sort of a lot of stuff is sort of one size fits all here. So you have a big stadium because it has to
okay,
because there's
then.
different clubs that are playing there, different sports that are playing there. Whereas if you look at it in Europe, generally
they've got their own.
clubs own the stadiums, so they build them to exactly what they want, and
Yeah,
they're much
okay.
smaller because they only need to cater for their crowd. But you get a more intimate,
Experience, yeah, cool.
sort of energetic experience. It's the same that like watching,
Yeah.
Like Amy Park is a good place.
Yeah,
to go
Amy's
watch
good.
football.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not
Amy's
bad. I've
actually
been
very
there.
good.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
better
good
than
place to watch.
MCG.
Storm actually, even Melbourne Storm game. I'm not a big rugby league fan, but like good crowd, good atmosphere. Like
Yeah.
it's
Well, when the Asian Cup was on, I went and watched
Oh, yeah.
Australia in there.
Oh,
that was
brilliant.
unreal.
Yeah.
That was really, really good.
So soccer, is that a winter sport or a summer sport?
well,
It's all time.
It's an all-time
it
sport.
should be a winter sport,
Okay.
but it's a
why,
summer
but it's
sport
summer
here.
sport in Australia.
Why do they have winter sports here?
Why?
Because
What do you mean?
It'd be a shit time to play sport and then rain.
Maybe in
I reckon-
Melbourne.
I reckon-
It's only Melbourne that's
Is it
shit
really?
in winter.
I reckon running around in 45-degree heat wouldn't in the middle of summer wouldn't be all that
Yeah.
much
It'd
fun
be
either.
way better.
What do you mean?
Well, they make us do it.
Okay, no, twice a year or whatever you have to
No
go in
way.
the heat.
Aren't we doing a summer series soon?
Oh,
don't
low
think so.
blow. Oh, aren't we going to turbo engine soon?
Yeah.
That's as bad as that.
I actually wouldn't mind summer series. I don't mind it.
I would mind a turbo engine.
I don't care what we race. As long as I'm racing.
Boys, are you going to wish me luck for the Co-Drivers Cup or what?
No. I don't want to hand you the check.
yeah.
That would
I'm writing
How
out to you.
rigged would that be?
Who's,
I know.
what,
That'd be so bad.
what's your tip? I think Garth's going to be unstoppable. I reckon
Well, no.
he's the man.
Yeah.
Well,
how
the
far
rain.
is he in front of
The
him
only
off?
thing I'd say, if it's dry,
Yeah.
he's a shoe in. He's done.
Yeah.
Like it's over.
If it
I reckon.
rains.
But if it rains, it could be on. I think because
Moss
it
in.
just throws a variable in there.
Yeah.
You know, getting your lap time in. It's only a 30-minute session,
Yeah.
so you got to get it done. And
It'll be,
and I just and all the engineers listening in. The co-drivers won't be focused on setting that race car up. Just give me a
No.
one-lap race
No,
car,
you-
Potsy. That's all I'm after. All
That's-
right?
I reckon
Harry Potter.
I reckon Garth's
Harry.
been taking it seriously. He's been so
100%.
consistently at the front.
Mate, he's the most
He might-
competitive
yeah.
human being I've ever met in my
He
life.
might- he might
He's
talk
out of
it down.
control. He reckons it doesn't mean anything. He'll be
Yeah.
he'll
Oh,
be
he wants
fist
that
pumping
15,
after every session. Don't you worry.
That's like 2 beers.
That's great.
2 beers.
Well, it is.
Two
isn't it?
beers, $15.
Oh,
It's
is
about
No,
what's
it's
a
not.
beer?
It's
A
$10
pint.
Yeah, $11 for a pint these days.
it?
Mate, it's out of control.
Probably a box of Max's
Yeah.
protein bars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, how you going?
Good.
Yeah, I'm back on it.
I'm real good. I feel the best I've ever felt.
I know, I've
I mean,
lost heaps of weight.
You actually look like it.
I've lost about 5 kilos, I think.
5 kilos.
It's not bad, hey.
That's pretty good.
I don't know where it's gone.
AVL's definitely got to do it next year. No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, good on you. Yeah, I'm on the constantly travelling diet at the moment.
Oh no, that's the hard. Well, that's
It's-
what makes it really hard for us. Like traveling all the time, you can't do the diet plan. You can't train as consistent. It
It's
makes
difficult.
it so hard. If I had a normal job, I'd be doing it all the time. I reckon.
Yeah, no, it's been good. You learn a lot about your body.
Yeah.
Like, what food makes your body respond in a way. It's good. Lots of energy.
It's been great.
I'll do it next year for sure. Once the knee's sorted, I'll be back. I'll be in. I could definitely stand.
We could turn you into a power lifter, I reckon,
Wow.
on the Max's side. What do you reckon? He'd be the strongest journo in the field. Maybe you could suppress people
I don't know. Have
into
you seen,
doing interviews.
have you
with
seen
you.
James Phelps? Yeah,
he
know.
loves it.
Yeah,
He actually loves Max's products.
He's
Does he?
He's,
I sent him
he's-
some the other day.
Oh, good work.
He's got big arms, that bloke.
He's
I
a
don't
big
think
man,
I'd
yeah,
be.
he loves it.
I
Why
would
don't
be
you
trying
take
to
him on?
fight
Why don't we get this going?
Oh, I
Like,
thought
get
you meant take him on
big-
like fighting. I was like,
Yeah,
you
we'll
beat the
get you
shit
big
out of him.
first. No, we'll get you big first, and then
Wow.
we can have a journo fight.
That'd be huge.
Who
I
can
just-
write
Is that
the
like
most
Code
shit?
Wars?
Hey,
Hall versus Gallon.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
that's the go.
That is going to be.
Who are you
good.
gonna tip for that?
I don't know.
Okay, you got to go Barry Hall. Height and
Height,
reach.
yeah, he's got the reach, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But he's got the mongrel though of Gallon.
I don't know. Probably.
Probably. Yeah, right. That's a
I
one-sided fight.
remember
We'll see what
there's
else.
a Barry Hall story that always sticks in my mind, and it was we were out one night in Port Melbourne. I don't know. You might have even been there. Dean Fiore was there,
Is it the exchange?
Oh no.
and it was we were at
He,
the we were
he
at
would
the
have been dressed
pub,
like a male model.
and we were
if he
Of
having
course he was.
we were having a few, and Barry was there. He was playing for
It was
Sydney,
at the
and they
Exchange Hotel on the corner.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Bay Street.
And Dino
used to go
went.
for Palmer's
He
all the
went
time.
to he went to the bathroom and he came back and he proudly told us that he was
took
at
a
the
piss next
urinal
to him.
and he said, "G'day Barry," and Barry went, "G'day boss," and he came back. He was like, "Barry Hall called me boss." That was at the urinal. That was
Boss.
that was
Dean
that
Fury.
was a highlight of Dino's
Probably
night. It
because
was a
Dean was
beauty.
wearing Hugo Boss.
yeah, it's-
Yeah,
just
he
saw it,
actually.
Boss, and then went, oh, his name's
okay, it was
Boss.
years ago. It would have been like I don't know, 2008 or something like that. It was a long time
Would
ago.
have been
Anyway.
What
Earlier
a
than
useless
that.
piece of information
I know.
your brain
It
has
just stuck in my brain. It's
I
just
love that. I
always
love
stuck
that.
in my
That's
brain.
great.
It's just always stuck in my brain.
That's
the,
great.
The time Barry Hall called Dean Fiore boss.
I've got plenty of useless information. My mum told me the other day that we used to play the gas chamber when we were kids.
Oh no, where's this going?
Well, like my auntie got like a fridge delivered to her house, and there was I grew up with there was my brother, myself, and my 2 cousins. All 4 of us grew up together, and I don't know why I'm telling this story, but we were probably 8, 9, 10 years old at the time, and kids, they're very creative. So we made with the box of the fridge came in, we made a gas chamber. We poked holes in it and got every aerosol from the house, Glen 20, every like deodorant can we could find, and we made a gas chamber, and you had to sit in there for longer than 10 seconds. We actually thought we killed my brother.
Isn't that day?
I actually,
Yeah.
Isn't
I
that
actually
like?
feel like this is a very believable origin story for the David
That
Reynolds
was-
story. Like this
that
is
was
this
just one
this
of the
really makes.
stupid
Oh my
things we
God.
do.
Yeah, that could have ended in serious.
I
we
think-
actually,
I think it
we
explains
thought
heaps.
we thought we killed my brother at one point because he came out coughing for like, it must have been 10 minutes or something. With his eyes, like he was coughing so much, we thought he had an asthma attack.
Where was your mum and dad at this stage?
Oh, probably upstairs. I don't know. That's just, come on, you must have kid stories like that. Like, we had the best childhood growing up. We had the most fun ever. We were just little rat bags. It was
It's growing up
awesome.
in the country, isn't it?
Oh, it was
Yeah.
the best
BMX.
childhood.
Well, what
I
sort of
got-
BMX did you have? What
I
was your-
didn't have one.
What?
I had
I-
skateboards.
Really? No BMX?
very-
We
yeah.
used to have BMX races.
What did you have? What was your BMX?
It was red one.
Red line.
Red line. I had a red line 340.
Oh,
That was the
really?
go.
Oh, you
Yeah.
actually know that? Oh, no.
I
Yeah.
remember
that
Red
was
Line.
my
There
pride and joy.
Mongoose, Red Line. They
Yeah.
were like they were like
Yeah.
the pinnacle.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so I
Couple
painted
$100
my
each.
wheels gold.
Yeah.
Of course you did. You
Yeah,
wog.
I know.
Of
course
So
you
it
did.
was- that was so gold. But we used to race. So all the guys that I used to race karts with,
Yeah.
like the Dive Brothers, There was a few of us
Yeah.
that used to go around because Brendan Clint's dad used to build my engine in
Yeah.
karting. So we used to go around his house while they were tuning up the engine. We'd have like these BMX races out the front of their house, literally in this cul-de-sac.
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
There's
awesome.
so many stacks though. You'd come home and you'd
Did you
have
ever-
blood everywhere. My dad would hit the roof, be like, "We've got a race on the weekend," and just blowing up at me because I've
Did
got...
you have the plastic wheels, or were these the just
No.
just
These
spoke
were
ones?
these
They
were
weren't
the
like that. You know
Spokey
the
dokies.
plastic.
Remember
like the
Spokey
tufts?
dokies?
Yeah.
I used to put
What?
used to put like a card in your
Yeah.
spokes to make a
Oh,
noise. It
nah.
sounded like an engine.
Nah,
And
that
then when
the
you
faster
did it, when
go,
you
the
did
more
a
it-
jump, it'd sound awesome because the wheels would really spin
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Did you ever take your go-kart up the we lived in a cul-de-sac, and every time Mum and Dad went away, well, they went out for the afternoon, we used to take the go-karts up and down.
Up
Take-
at the street?
yeah, 100%, mate.
And the
Take
neighbours love that.
I hated it. But we used to do it, take the exhaust pipes off,
Oh!
but like at the engine, and it used to make the loudest noise ever.
Yeah,
it was
they're-
so cool.
Go-karts are loud as they are.
Yeah, so
I love
loud.
that.
Hard up on the gas, up and down. The old J motor was awesome.
You must have been a rat back.
I was a
as
terrible kid, mate. Terrible kid. Terrible kid.
Uh,
I had to move my brother's car one day, and I did a skid on Mum's lawn. I had nice manicured lawn. I reckon the mark must have lasted 6 months.
Oh, really?
It didn't grow back.
Are they
for
still
6
in
months.
the same joint?
Yeah, still in the same joint. Yeah. There's
So-
probably a trauma mark from around that tree where I made it. I was a terrible kid growing up. I don't know how my parents put up with me.
Is this what you and Tahana got to look forward to?
Well, no, I went to I went to a wedding last night, and then there was a lot of stories from our younger years. And
Oh, okay. So
it was
rehash.
hilarious. It was hilarious. Yeah, funny as. Roadkill Rodney, my brother. Actually, my brother was best man. He got up and made a speech about Roadkill Rodney. We'll go.
Who's Roadkill Rodney?
Roadkill Rodney was a teddy bear that we won at.
A teddy bear.
Yeah, we
How-
won. So the story goes, we won a those little lacquer band guns. And
Yeah.
a bag of lacquer bands, and then a teddy bear at the school fete, and we'll go and camping that night. We're going on we're going to do a stage, a checkpoint. That's what they call it, a checkpoint at a rally. And we were camping for the night. And on the way there, we made this game called Roadkill Rodney, and we had the bag of lacquer bands. The gun broke, so we had a bag of lacquer bands and the teddy. So we made like this big bungee cord and wrapped around the teddy's head, and we used to throw it at the oncoming cars on the other side on the road. And we played games like if they tooted, we get 3 points. If they swerved, it was 5 points. If
Oh.
it was just
Is
dude,
this
we
where
were-
the road rage
I was gonna say. Road,
dude, I was
road safety
8,
advocate
9,
David
or 10
Reynolds,
years old. I
everybody.
was like, yeah, I was just
You're
a
an
terrible
idiot.
kid. Yeah, I was an idiot. But my dad was driving the car, and every time we lost the bear, he'd stop and let us go get it. To
Oh,
continue
really?
with our game of
that,
Roadkill
is,
Rodney.
that is very patient.
Yeah,
So
you're
if my
a
kid was
dad.
doing that, I would have gone, well, mate,
My
you're throwing
dad
a
is
teddy
like-
bear out
I
the
would have
window.
pressed
What
the
do you-
lock the window
Yeah,
button by then.
My
Actually, there
dad's
wouldn't
like
have been that.
My dad's like Homer Simpson.
Is he really?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Whatever stupid games he wants to be involved in, he's involved in.
That's that's
That's
quite the
great.
story. Anyway, welcome to the world of road safety
Yeah, I
advocacy
know.
now.
I've got that's probably why I feel so bad. I probably caused a couple of accidents when I was
Yeah.
younger.
You idiot.
What about? We need some updates on spotters guides. So anyone out there, if you can let us know what's.
I've seen one complete one, I think.
Oh really?
Have
I
you?
think so, yeah.
Good
Oh,
job.
you beauty.
He did it at Bathurst, I
Well,
think.
there's a good prize. It's a
Yeah,
bloody
the
great prize.
The Porsche prize pack's just
Yeah, I wanna
waiting
win
for
that.
someone to win. So
Yeah,
one
this
more
is your
round.
last chance.
Yep,
This
one
is
more
the last
round and
time
send
you'll
it on
get
over.
all the co-drivers together.
This is it.
They're harder to get than the main drivers, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're the big celebrities. They are the big celebrities. So give us some updates.
Send it in.
Yeah, let's give that prize to someone.
Well, let's
Well, I'm going home.
yeah, let's go to the Sandown 500.
All right.
Let's go motor racing, boys. Good luck this
Can't wait.
weekend.
When are we going to
Thanks,
do
mate.
this again?
When do you want to do it?
I don't know. When people at Bet Easy let us have our
We've
studio
had a
again?
we've had a few
Hey?
people actually. Few
Just give
people
us the
writing,
finger.
going, "What's going on, boys? Are you doing this? Are you doing
Yeah,
another
that's
episode?"
messages
The week.
from
So
somebody.
yeah, no, we'll be back in. I think we'll come in straight after
Yep.
next week,
Crank on with it.
and I'm hoping
I'll give another childhood story.
now.
Oh, no, when we come back.
Yeah, okay.
I've already got some in my brain. Yeah.
Oh no. But no, when we
Flaming
come,
soccer
no,
ball we
what
used
we'll
to
try
play.
to do.
Flaming soccer ball.
Oh my god.
We used to win these soccer balls out of time zone, out of
Sick.
the skill testers, and we used to soak them in butane and light them and kick them around to each other.
That's
I only did it at night so you could see it. It was flaming soccer ball.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the
So I
name,
did
the
play
name
soccer.
described it
Yeah, I
fairly well. to be honest.
think, yeah, there was no confusing it.
I'll ask Mum and Dad what we used to do.
All right. But no, what we will try to do for the next set is try to get the winner of the Below the Bonnet Cup in. How good would that be?
That would be good. That'd be
A
great.
serious sit down.
Yeah.
Interview. How's
Interview.
it feel to win
Talk us
15-50?
through-
Life-changing moment.
Talk us through your season.
We'll try to get it in.
When was the time you sat down with the engineer and he went, "You're going out on old tyres," and you went, "Nah, sticks and
That was the
greens on it,
first
boys."
time. That was the first few
Sticks and
events for
greens
me.
on it.
You know how many coffees I had to give Potsy and Brad to make sure I could get some good tyres?
That's great.
Anyway, all right, well, yeah, let's go. See you guys.
See ya.